Welcome to my channel, F1 News. Ferrari just ran a private test at Monza, and what Hamilton and Leclerc experienced inside that upgraded machine could be worth 0.2 per lap, enough to completely shift the battle at the front. One session, two drivers, two entirely different reactions, and one upgrade that was pulled from the car before, now making its return. Because this was no ordinary test. This was a gamble. A redesigned floor, a new front wing, a fully reworked aerodynamic balance, and most critically, the comeback of the most talked about system on the grid, the rotating rear wing, the one that caused chaos, and Ferrari abandoned, the one that could now hand them a devastating straight line advantage. Both drivers felt it, but not in the same way. One walked away with belief, the other walked away with doubts. Inside that contrast lies the answer to whether Ferrari just found race-winning pace or opened the door to new trouble that only shows itself when the stakes are highest. From the beginning, the reactions told completely different stories. Leclerc climbed out and immediately talked about balance, not top speed, not straight gains, balance. The way the car rotated through quick corners, the way the front end bit without hesitation, the way the rear held its composure under load. That points straight at the floor, because Ferrari's revised floor was the heart of this entire test. More downforce, cleaner underbody airflow, greater stability through fast sections. For Leclerc, that stability was present, not flawless, but real. The car felt more predictable, more in line with what the data had been showing, and that matters enormously, because when a driver of Leclerc's level senses correlation between the simulator and the real track, the development path is working. Then Hamilton strapped in. Same package, same circuit, same weather, different verdict. Because what Hamilton's in was not balance alone, it was drivability. How the car behaves at the absolute edge, how naturally performance can be extracted, how the car communicates when being pushed hard. That is where things get complicated, because the upgrades did improve specific areas. Stronger front end, sharper rotation, better composure through high-speed corners, but they also brought something new, sensitivity. The car reacts faster, more aggressively to minor inputs, with less room for error beyond the limit. That gap between two perspectives is where everything gets interesting. Leclerc sees a breakthrough, Hamilton sees a puzzle, and both assessments are accurate, because this package does not simply add performance, it rewires how the car feels entirely. Now, this is where the most controversial element enters the picture, the rear wing, the rotating system, back on the car after being pulled for causing instability, now fitted again with Ferrari insisting the problems are solved. And in Monza, it functioned differently this time. It returned to position cleanly in the straights. The transition looked more controlled, the behavior more composed. But here is the issue. Monza does not reveal everything. Long straights, hard braking zones, clean transitions. This track is ideal for testing pure efficiency, but it is not the place to test unpredictability under pressure, and that is precisely what Hamilton was registering. Not a failure, not a clear fault, but something unresolved. A system that operates but could still be fragile when conditions get brutal. That is the real divide. Leclerc is focused on what this car can become. Hamilton is feeling what it actually is right now. The truth is somewhere in that gap. This is also where the complexity deepens, because these upgrades are not independent, they're linked. The floor reshapes the airflow, the front wing redirects it, the rear wing depends on both. Change everything together, and you're not just layering performance on top, you're transforming the car's entire character. That's exactly what Hamilton was sensing when he pushed deeper into corners. The car did not slow down, it did not become obviously unstable, it became sharper, more reactive, punishing when the inputs were even slightly mistimed. In Formula One, the fastest car is never the one with the most raw downforce. It's the one the driver trusts completely to the limit. And the rear wing amplifies all of this, because it doesn't only influence straight line speed, it affects just improving, they're unlocking something. So now Ferrari holds two realities simultaneously, a car with greater potential than before, and a car that demands more to extract it. That combination carries genuine danger, because done right, this package reshapes their season. Done wrong, it creates something quick but unreliable, fast but fragile. And that brings everything to the one question that now defines Ferrari's next few weeks. Not whether these upgrades function, but whether both drivers can extract them equally. If only one can truly use the car, the problem isn't fixed, it's just masked. Ferrari must answer that before this package sees a race weekend, where there are no controlled environments, no second attempts, no ideal setups, only pressure, only performance, only the unfiltered truth. And that moment is Miami, not just another race on the calendar, a verdict. Because everything Ferrari tested at Monza was not a single upgrade, it was a transformation, a new floor changing the foundation of the car, a revised front wing redefining how air moves across it, a rear wing system capable of delivering a straight line edge nobody else on the grid currently has, all of it packaged into one version of the SF26, and it all must function together, not in isolation, not in ideal conditions, in reality. Hamilton's perspective becomes critical here, because he's not questioning the pace, he's questioning the repeatability, whether the car behaves identically lap after lap, whether it stays trustworthy as tires wear, whether it remains predictable when a race descends into chaos. These are areas Ferrari has struggled with before, dominant in clean air, difficult in traffic, strong in qualifying, less convincing across a full race distance. This package has to change that, not patch it, change it. Leclerc's optimism points somewhere equally significant, because what he experienced suggests the foundation will finally be the right one, a car that responds naturally, a car that communicates honestly, a car that can be pushed without hesitation. If that is genuine, Ferrari is not simply better, they're different. But here is the piece that connects everything. Both drivers are correct, and that's precisely what makes this situation so critical. Ferrari now has a car with elevated potential and elevated sensitivity, more performance on offer, but harder to reach. That is an extremely narrow window where everything must align simultaneously. Setup, temperature, driver inputs, track conditions. When all of it clicks, Ferrari becomes genuinely dangerous, not just competitive, threatening. But if even one element misses, the performance evaporates. That's the risk. That's what Hamilton feels. That's what Leclerc is chasing. And that's what Miami will expose. Because what these two drivers revealed at Monza is not only about this upgrade package, it's about Ferrari's identity this season. For the first time, they're not short on ideas. They're not playing it safe. They're pushing into territory no other team is willing to enter. A rotating rear wing nobody else dares run. A floor engineered to generate downforce without bleeding speed. A car evolving aggressively, not cautiously. Ferrari is no longer reacting to others, they're taking deliberate risks. Every extreme solution in Formula One carries a price, because the further you push the concept, the smaller the margin for error. And right now, Ferrari is sitting directly on that edge, where one perfect weekend rewrites their entire narrative, one difficult race exposes every vulnerability at once. Imagine this working in Miami. The rear wing delivers the straight line advantage, the floor provides the stability, the balance holds under race pressure. Suddenly, Ferrari isn't chasing, they're dictating, forcing rivals to react, forcing engineers across pit lane to rethink their own concepts. That's how championship momentum shifts, not gradually, but in one race, one upgrade, one moment. But if it fails, if the sensitivity becomes a liability, if the rear wing creates unexpected behavior under pressure, if consistency fades across a race distance, then everything reverses. The same innovation that could win them a race becomes the thing that costs them the season. That's the tension living inside Ferrari right now. Two drivers with two views, one seeing the breakthrough clearly, the other feeling the risk just as clearly. Both pointing at the exact same truth. This car is faster, but it is also more demanding. In Formula One, demanding cars don't forgive error. speed.